This game was the most disappointing game sequel I've played in a long time. And yes, of course, I'm talking about Dragon's Dogma 2. Back in the year 2024, I was so hyped for this game until I actually played it. When I first heard the announcement for this game, I was hype as anything, as I thought we were never going to get a sequel to the original Dragon's Dogma, which I loved so much. And as soon as I seen the initial announcement for this, I was literally throwing my money at the screen. I wanted this game that much. But unfortunately, this game didn't really go the way I thought it was going to go. And I ended up dropping it quite soon. I never played it again until now in the year 2026. And I've got to say, I think my opinion on this game might have changed now. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a game which I probably played in the wrong time period. I played this game originally when I was getting burnt out on RPGs and open world games. I've just come off the back foot of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and coming into this game from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was kinda like night and day for me. I just put so many hours into that game, and then boom, another open world game is on the horizon, Dragon's Dogma 2, and now I need to go invest another 40 to 60 hours into this game to actually get some sort of fulfillment out of it. And I just think at the time, I was just burnt out on this genre. There were so many things when I first started this game which I just didn't gel with. For starters, the story. The story on this game, from what I'd played so far, literally just felt like, eh. There was nothing to this story that just made me want to keep on going with this story. There was nothing like that driving force where I wanted to see what happened next in this story. Like, every time I thought I was going to get to a bit where I was like, oh, something's going to happen. No, nothing really happened. You just like doing the same generic thing that you're doing over and over again. Essentially, the story of this was you are an Arisen and there's an imposter in Arisen and you need to go and uncover the truth so you can basically retake your place as the proper Arisen that everyone worships. And I was about 11 or so hours into this game before I put it down originally, and nothing happened. Like, literally, like, nothing happened at the time. It also kind of annoyed me with this story as well, that it wasn't connected to the original game. Like, you could have easily just called this game a reboot. I think it's literally on the main actual screen, you know, the starting screen, it just says Dragon's Dogma. It doesn't say Dragon's Dogma 2 or anything else. It just says Dragon's Dogma. Like, I understand why you've done it, because you can bring new fans into the franchise and, you know, it's just like, here you go, here's a fresh new game for you, here's Dragon's Dogma again, but in my opinion worse. Well, that's what I thought anyway. The beginning of this game is not as impactful as the original game. Spoilers again. They basically start off essentially the same, where a dragon comes down and takes the Arisen's heart. I get it, it's part of the actual Arisen sort of storyline, and you know, Arisens are basically meant to live like without a heart, something along those lines. I understand that, but on the original game, if you go and watch it back, it's so much more impactful. You get your heart taken from you in the original game and you like have a seizure sort of thing. Like, your body just like flops around and flails around and it looks like, holy crap, what the hell's going on here? And yes, obviously if you played the original Dragon's Dogma for the first time, it will be more like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? And then we do it on this one, it's just like, there you go, I've just took his heart. Hey fellas, I've just took this Arisen's heart. Another one bites the dust. Yeah, it's just not really impactful. But that didn't like drive me away from the story initially. It was other things down the line when I was starting to play this story through more and more that I was just like, when is this story meant to be picking up? I'm about 10 hours into this game and nothing has happened that's very impactful. There were so many different aspects when I originally played this. For one, when I originally played Dragon's Dogma 2, you could only play this on 30 FPS on the console. Later down the line, after I dropped the game, a 60 FPS or 50 to 60 FPS, a better performance mode, let's say, came out, and now playing this feels a lot smoother, I'll be honest, it does. When I originally played this, one of the reasons I was getting put off as well, because I had to play on 30 FPS, I've just come off, like I said, playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I was playing that on performance mode, and then going on to this, so it was just like, what in the downscale am I playing here? It felt like I went back playing like a PlayStation 4 game. Not visually, but like performance-wise. And there was no other option to actually choose performance when this originally came out. I know on PC, I think they did have like 60 FPS, obviously it's PC, but for some reason PlayStation didn't until certain way down the line. Another thing that originally put me off on this game as well, along with the performance and the story, was like the lack of NPCs in like towns, I want to say. You get to your main first town on this game, and like any other RPG, I always get excited to go to that town or, you know, like city in a game where you just see where all the life is, and there's so many different quests to do there. But you get to the main town on Dragon's Dogma 2 and it's just literally like a barren ghost town. Like, I walked into this place like, this is the main town. This is the main town right here. Just a guy speaking by a fountain and like 4 or 5 different vendors in front of me. What happened to like this rich ass cities and stuff like that? I literally looked at this and went, this is what I've been waiting to get to? This? When I was playing this, I was just like, what in the hell? This isn't even the same as Dragon's Dogma 1. Like, I remember getting to the first city on Dragon's Dogma 1. It's not the best city you've ever seen in an RPG, but it was definitely more engaging and more lifeful than this. And I think all these factors, on top of myself being burnt out on this game, just coming off a great game like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I literally put 10 to 11 hours into this when I originally played it, and I think I just went after a while, you know what, there's other stuff coming out which I just want to play. I don't have time for this anymore. I really wanted to love this game, and I just couldn't. Which then brings us to now. Because recently, if you didn't know, I've been playing Crimson Desert, probably like all of you, in which I'm not going to compare these games to a certain degree. I'll have little comparisons here and there, but I feel like Crimson Desert's just a much more rich and vibrant looking, color, bigger ass scale game than this. But the reason which I thought I'll go back to Dragon's Dogma 2 is because with Crimson Desert, the main story on it, I feel like doesn't really matter, and it's not the most engaging main story. It's not that bad. Like, the further you're getting in the story on Crimson Desert, the better it's getting. And I know I've heard Dragon's Dogma 2's main story is pretty ass from people who've even completed it, but I thought I'd pick up Dragon's Dogma 2 and maybe not think about the main story as much, because usually in a game, that's my driving factor to actually go and complete a game, is the main story. But like I said, I've been playing Crimson Desert and just doing anything. So I thought I'll pick up this game and just do some side quests here and there, go exploring and go fighting everything I can, and see how I feel about this game now. And I'll tell you now, I think my opinion on this game has changed a little bit. So this weekend, I've booted up my old save of this game and tried to pick up from where I last left off. For some reason, I was in some random ass cave, don't know where the hell I was going. It's always the case when you pick up a save after 2 years. Yes, that's the last time I actually played this game, was 2 years ago. But I decided to go and do some side quests before even trying to go back onto the main story. But like I said, I want to come back to this game and look at it in a different way than I would usually, looking at the main story as that driving factor to play a game. But instead of actually doing loads of different side quests and going to the story, I found myself just exploring the world more. Because if you didn't know on this game, like, fast travel it's not non-existent, or it may as well be non-existent, because you find these port crystals in different cities. I don't even know if they're available in every city. And then you have to use these things called fairy stones, which are basically items in your inventory, which basically diminish as soon as you've used one. So me, for example, I've only got like 2 or 3 in my inventory, so I can only fast travel somewhere 3 times and then I'll have to walk everywhere. So, and there's not even a point of even using one if you think you can just literally like walk to one within like 10 to 20 minutes, because it'll just save you so much time in the long run. But I actually kind of like this aspect now, where if I played this 2 years ago, I would have looked at this and gone, oh, for Christ's sake, I am sick of walking everywhere. Don't get me wrong, like the system for this was near enough the same in Dragon's Dogma 1 as well. But I don't know, I think because the world was smaller on Dragon's Dogma 1, it was like more manageable. But like I said, it's not a bad thing that I'm having to walk everywhere now, because I'm actually really enjoying just exploring. And rather with like other RPGs like say Crimson Desert or other RPGs, you usually travel alone, but not with Dragon's Dogma. You usually have a party of like 3 other people with you, which the party's made up of you and your pawns. Not pawns off a chessboard, and no, certainly not prawns.
Yeah, you sneaky fucking pro.
Pawns. it is basically said the same as like the chess pieces. Pawns are essentially, if you don't know, your allies in this game. You get your own pawn, which you get to basically create yourself. They kind of act like as your second main character in this game, I want to say, with the amount of different stuff you can do with them. And then you get to summon 2 other pawns from other real life players. Like someone had made this pawn, you can go into like a rift, go and summon someone else's pawn to go and help you with all these quests. And if you don't want to have them 10 minutes later, you can just go and get another one. You can recruit different type of pawns. If I want a warrior on my side with a mage, there you go. Let's go and get one of them. I need some archery in my team. Let's go and get an archer. I need just a load of tanks on my team. Just get loads of tanks on your team. It's really well done, the pawn system on Dragon's Dogma. They did it with number 1, and I remember when I first played this on number 1, I was like, wow, this just makes you feel like you're not playing alone. This makes you feel like you're playing a game like Lord of the Rings, you know, going off on an adventure with all your other different guys, or, you know, like a anime like Frieren, for example. You're just going on an adventure with all your different guys, and they're all giving you all these sarky remarks. I remember they did actually, like, when I originally played this, they were speaking a lot more than they do now. Apparently, I think they patched it in where the pawns don't really speak as much. Because I remember when I first played this, I was like, okay now, Lingus, let's just pipe it down a little bit. I don't need to be hearing you every 2 seconds. It's nice having you here, but you know, you're giving me earache now. But like I said, it was near enough the same in Dragon's Dogma 1 as well. They've not really changed much here, which I'm actually glad about because I don't think there was anything wrong with the system in Dragon's Dogma 1 to begin with. But it's great. I really love going on the adventure of all these sort of different pawns, and 1 minute it'd be collecting chests, the next minute a griffin will come from the sky, or a hippogriff, whatever you want to call them, will come from the sky and try and attack you. Then you'll have some goblins, and then you'll have a troll, and then you'll have some goblins, and then you'll have some goblins, and then you'll have some goblins. Yes, the enemy variety on this game is like literally lackluster. Like, there's so many different enemies they could have made, but no, there's like 5 different enemies, I want to say, on this game. And you're just like, at the end, you're like, another goblin pact, or, you know, another harpies just come over again. Like, oh, man. They could have made so many different more enemies on this. I don't know if they were in a rush for, like, all their enemies and they just didn't want to design anymore, but come on. It's not the worst, because sometimes when you actually do encounter a different enemy, like a dragon, for example, you're like, oh, hang on a minute, where have you come from? Which makes it a bit more special, I want to say, but I think they definitely could have made more different types of enemies in this game, rather than just, like, rehashing the others. I think I remember on the original game, like, griffins weren't as much as I seen on this. I'm pretty sure I only seen, like, a few griffins on the original game. On this one, god damn, they're here on every other corner. There's one in the sky every 2 minutes trying to peck your head down. But when you've just been beating a griffin's ass for the last 10 to 15 minutes, and then he just goes, see you later, pal. I've only got a little bit of health left. I'll see you again next time. And you don't get any XP for it or anything along those lines. It kind of pisses you off, I'm not gonna lie. But again, it's my fault for choosing the vocation that I am. I should have chosen a mage if I wanted to actually get him down from the sky. Or, you know, climbed on his back before he actually flew off. And I'll say this now, I said it before as well, the game runs much more smoothly than when I originally played this game on 30 FPS, and now it's 50 to 60 FPS. It makes the combat so much more fluid. I remember when I originally played this game, I started off as a fighter, and I was playing this at 30 FPS, and I was like, why in the God's damn name does this feel like I'm literally playing tennis with a 2-year-old? It was that slow. And I thought, is this game so slow because of the build I am, being a fighter, which is a sword and shield build? Then I went, okay, let's go to the 2-handed sword. No, that was even more slow. So then I went, right, okay, I'll change vocation again. Then I switched to the Mystic Spear Hand, which is like a hybrid vocation. A vocation is basically like a class, you know, like warrior, mage, this, that, and the other. And they're like a spear class. They use like a double-edged spear, and they are a lot more fluent than like a warrior or something along those lines. And when I originally played this, I was like, okay, you know, it's feeling a bit more fast. But when I booted this game up recently, I was like, this is what I should have had from the start. This feels so much better now. Because the combat system on this game is brilliant. I really enjoy it. There's no other game where you can go on to fight something like a griffin or a troll or wherever else and be able to climb the monster whilst you're smacking it in the head with your spear or wherever else it is. Bear in mind, you can't sit on top of it for ages because you do have a stamina bar, which I actually kind of like, but we'll get to that in a bit. And you're just hacking at its head or, you know, chopping off its tail, and then it becomes a bit more weaker, it gets stunned, and then you and your party can just literally go at it. I think the combat system on this game is great. It was great on number 1 as well. I feel that the combat is better on this game than number 1, but I haven't played number 1 in quite a few years, so not for me to say, but from what I can remember, this is just like a smoother version of Dragon's Dogma 1, is which it should be. And speaking of classes, like I said earlier, with your pawn, they essentially act as another main character, so you can have your pawn as what vocation you want as well. I've got mine as a mage because I need someone to heal me, and I like him doing like range attacks when I can't because I don't really have a bow and arrow or any other ranged abilities at the moment. And if I want to change his vocation, I can as well, but you know, you get leveled up in that vocation as well. I'm not quite sure what actually happens when you get max vocation. I think my pawn's like second to near max his vocation. I don't know what happens when he gets vocation max. I'm guessing you can just get better skills. But with you and your pawn, you can get different skills as well. Like you can get ones that just like different magic abilities, or you know, like different thrust abilities, or different other abilities for the class I'm playing. And I'm pretty sure the more you rank up into this vocation, the more points you can get, and then the more you can spend. There's quite a bit of customization here you can do with like your skills and stuff like that. I wouldn't say it's the most complex, which I'm not happy about, considering I've just been playing Crimson Desert, and that has like 50 other things you can do into one like spec, and now you're just getting a bit confused at that point. This is a bit more grounded more than that. And when you level up, your health and stamina goes up as well, like it would like on other games. But I do have a small gripe still with the stamina system. Like, people are going to be jumping at me now. I'll explain. I feel like this game is a game where you shouldn't pick up every item. I'm used to going on RPGs and picking up near enough every item I see. I know most RPGs do have like an inventory system where you either get like over encumbered, or you have a weight limit or item limit, and this game does have it as well. But I feel like I'm picking up an item and you get to like the status of heavy. So with your main character, you'll have like a weight bar, and the more that goes up, you go from like light, heavy, very heavy, etc, etc. And with that, your stamina will drain more, which isn't a bad system. I actually think it's kind of good. If I'm going around as very heavy, I'll be out of breath in about 2 seconds running up a little bit of a hill, and then one of my pawns will have to come up behind me and literally go like, hey man, are you okay? Recharges my stamina. But when you're in the middle of a fight, it's kind of a pain in the ass. So you can, fortunately, distribute your weight between you and your pawns anyway, even the ones that you've summoned. So if I pick up a nice piece of armor, which isn't actually for me, I can't equip it, and I just want to go ahead and sell it, or you know, it's a piece of armor which my pawn can equip, then I can just pass it over to one of them to either pick up or equip. And then obviously that makes my weight limit go down, which I really do like, but I feel like you just need to manage this a lot all the time, because the amount of stuff I'm picking up, I'm like, okay, let's pause the menu. Here you go, here's some stuff pawn, there you go, there you go, there you go. To be fair, what I should do is just go back to the main town, sell what I don't need, and then be off on your adventure, which is actually kind of good on this, because every time you go back to a main town on this, from being out in the wilderness or the wild or world, whatever you want to say, before you set out, I feel like you need to make sure you're like prepared for what you're going to be going out on, because you won't be coming back to another town for a long time, because like I said, the fast travel system on this isn't like the greatest, but it's certainly not the worst. You're just made to basically explore more, and you're going to be out in the wild for a long time. So before you head out, you might want to get a camping bag so you can set up a camp, like a fireplace. You can't literally go up to any fireplace and set up camp. You need to have these certain items to basically be able to set up camp, and then you can sleep. When you sleep, your health bar regenerates, this, that, and the other. Your stamina's replenished, whatever. I think your stamina automatically replenishes, but you know what I mean. And you might want to make sure you get some like potions and stuff before you head out, because especially in the dark, the enemies kind of do change when you get in the dark. Like I said, there's not a big variety of them, but you're probably going to be encountering more enemies in the dark. It's more dangerous. It makes you think about what you're going to do before you go out into the actual wild, which I do like, because not really a lot of other games do that. I feel like when I've been playing this over the weekend, I've just been going at this in such a different way than I did the original time I played it. Whereas I don't really care about the story anymore. I just want to go on an adventure. Because Crimson Desert has literally made me do that. Literally just go on so many adventures, and I thought, you know what, let's try again. I'm so glad I've gone back to this game. I want to go and play more now. I don't think I would ever say that. But there is plenty enough to do in this world. You know, there's different caves. You'll go around the corner and you'll find some like hidden secret entrance to like underground area or something along those lines. Or you'll come across some NPCs fighting off a troll or something. This is where this game actually does feel alive. It's in the actual open world. The cities themselves, to me, don't feel very much alive. There's like lack of NPCs, lack of anything going on. Don't get me wrong, there is a good amount of NPCs in these villages and towns, but I feel like I'm seeing more in the actual open world. You'll be roaming up a road and then to your right hand side, you'll see a gang of like NPCs fighting off a troll. Go and help them if you want to. The more the merrier, I say. You'll take them down. You might get like a quick thank you, I think. Or you'll be walking up the road and you'll see someone else's pawn. Yeah, people's real pawns are literally just walking around this world as well, which I think is great. You'll just see some guys stacked up in some like armor and you go, who the hell is this dude? And it turns out to be someone's pawn. And they'll tell you a little story of a little adventure they've gone on. And you can bring them into your party if you want to, which is good. Like you went, ooh, this guy's level 25. My warrior's only level 22. I need a high level warrior now to keep up with my pace. Let's summon him instead. I really do like that about this game though. It just makes it feel more alive when you're actually in the open world than in the city, but I would rather it be more balanced, to be honest. But I like what they're going with that. This is very much a game where I feel like they've hit the right marks on certain places, but there's so many places they just haven't hit the right mark. I'm hoping they do like a Dark Arisen with this, where they like revamp the game a little bit and bring in some new DLC, which apparently I've been seeing for like the last couple of weeks. There might be rumors of actually DLC coming out for this game. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Take that with a grain of salt. So I think I've been playing this over the weekend and I've played it for like another 10 hours or so now. I've really like hardly progressed in the main story at all. I've done like another mission or two. I'm only on the bit in the main story where I need to go and kill some, spoilers again, dragons to get like their scales or something. I don't even think it's called scales. That's just saying that off the top of my head. I've not really been doing the story at all. I've just been going around this world, adventuring, killing what I can, getting some loot here and there, leveling up, doing stuff for my pawns, and just having a good time. And I'm going to be continuing to play this game as well. Annoyingly, I'm still playing Crimson Desert, so you know, where the hell are you getting the time for that? I know. But like I said earlier, when I first heard the announcement for this game, because I loved the first game that much, I just wanted to literally be sunk into this game for hours and hours because I loved the first game so much. And I feel like I'm not going to be doing as much as I should be doing on this game, but I really do want to at least maybe finish the main story, because just to say I have, do as many side quests as I can and just do a lot more exploring to see if this world's got any more to offer. Because from what I've been seeing this last few days, I am really enjoying this and I'm glad I've gone back to it. And I really do hope they do bring out some DLC like Dark Arisen to revamp the game a bit more, this, that, and the other, and some like more areas for this game. I really feel like this game should have like a resurgence, shall I say. And I hope they do, because Capcom are not really missing at the moment. Capcom are making games like left, right, and center, and every single one of them, near enough, are doing pretty well. And it's just unfortunate that this one didn't do the best at the time. I think it still sold pretty okay numbers, but, you know, I know a lot of people didn't like it for certain reasons, the same as I did. Well, that's it for this one. I just want to go back to a game which I didn't remember being so good at the time. You know, when you go back to a game, it's always good to look at it a different sort of way sometimes, so then you can experience it in a different way, like I have. I've just not gone towards the main story as much, and I just want to go exploring. And I feel like this might have been what this game wanted me to do to begin with, and I maybe didn't give it enough a chance. Like I said, I played for about 10 or 11 hours to begin with, but maybe we need to start playing games for longer these days. Not the greatest thing, because I don't have that much time, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you don't have much time to actually play the games for that long of a time. Usually I would give a game about 5 to 6 hours and I would go, right, okay, this is not for me. But you know, I might have to start playing them longer. But if you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on the video. I bring out videos as often as I can on different games, and I'll be sure to bring out another video on this if DLC comes out as well, because I would love to check that out after I've done everything I can on this anyway. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to the milestone of the massive 3,000 subscribers. Yeah, it's not a massive milestone, but it is for me. So if you do enjoy this sort of thing, please do subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.